She speaks. They listen, but they don't hear her. Ariel sits at the end of a long boardroom table, voice steady, ideas sharp. She's pitching a story that could make the front page, a deep dive on a public figure who's more mystery than man. The room hums with interest, until her boss hands the assignment to someone else. 3 years at this place, not one real story with her name on it. Later that night, a dimly lit bar becomes her confessional. Across the table, Mark, her boyfriend, part-time comfort, full-time realist. She vents. She's tired of chasing someone else's words. She wants to write something real, something that bleeds. Mark scoffs. No one wants your story. He breaks it down like an analyst. No trauma, no drama, no tragic backstory. 2 parents still in love. Ivy League graduate, stable job, no heartbreak, no demons. You're too normal. Ariel doesn't argue. She just chews her food, eyes staring past him, somewhere distant. The next day, the newsroom buzzes with something big. A ghost from the past is back. Moretti, the iconic pop star who vanished without a trace. A colleague pulls up a live stream. His publicist confirms it. Moretti's alive, and he's about to drop a new album. But first, a private listening party, VIP only, a single night, invitation only. Stan, the boss, gets one. Expected. But when someone walks in and says Ariel's invited too, the room freezes. Jaws drop. She didn't even know she was on anyone's radar. That night, she dives into everything Moretti. Interviews, rumors, myths. The man is an enigma wrapped in silk and smoke. Next morning, a bus waits for the chosen ones. Influencers, hosts, writers, dreamers. Ariel climbs aboard, stands there too, clipboard in hand, eyes on no one. On the way, she flips through Moretti's old book. One line makes her freeze. Teach them young, and the world will be yours. She shows it to Stan. He shrugs. Just take notes. I'll read them after. She closes the book slowly, watching the road twist ahead. Something about this doesn't feel like a concert. The bus stops at black iron gates wrapped in ivy. Behind them, Moretti's compound. Outside, a wall of fans, hollow-eyed, waiting, hoping to catch a glimpse of the man who disappeared and came back a myth. As the guests step down, they're greeted by a group in flowing blue robes. Calm, clinical. They call themselves the Levelists. Phones must be surrendered, no exceptions. You'll get them back after, one says, smiling like it's a favor. Each guest receives a vase, elegant, handcrafted, strangely weighty. A souvenir, they say. Somewhere deep inside, Moretti is prepping. Surrounded by silent attendants, he moves like a man walking into battle. When he finally enters the hall, the room doesn't cheer. It worships. Every eye locked, every breath held. He speaks of fame, its rise, its rot, of the noise that swallowed him whole. The crowd eats up every word. No one sits. A little girl, barely 10, tugs at Ariel's sleeve. "You're from New York?" she whispers, pulling her closer. Ariel follows, takes a seat beside her. Then comes the bread. One loaf, passed around like Holy Communion. Bite, pass, bite, pass. By the time it gets to Ariel, it's soggy and half dissolved. She forces a bite and hands it on. Later, the real meal, luxury seafood, plated like art. Ariel tries to make sense of it all. She corners one of the workers, Jorg, ex-music teacher, wide eyes, low voice. "I got a call," he says. "From Moretti. Just left everything behind. He teaches music now, to children, in this compound." Ariel hears it again, the phrase from the book. "Teach them young, and the world will be yours." She presses him. "What does it mean?" Jorg answers in riddles. "We're levelists. We protect creativity from corruption. We serve the divinely burdened." It's meant to clarify. It doesn't. She reaches for her notepad, but before pen hits paper, a shadow looms behind her. Moretti, quiet, watching. "Welcome," he says softly, then vanishes into the crowd. Dinner ends. Another levelist steps forward. "From now on, each of you will have a personal concierge. They'll handle your every need." They hand out cards, schedules, rules, expectations. No room for spontaneity. Back in her room, Ariel opens her bag. Her laptop's gone. A note is left instead. "We've taken it to preserve the integrity of your experience." A soft pop outside. She opens the door. Her concierge is sitting there, silent, smiling. Inside, a radio clicks on. Moretti's voice, his music, hypnotic, looping. She listens, unaware that hidden cameras are already watching her, watching everyone. In another room, a guest lies on a massage table, relaxed. Then, something shifts. More hands than before. More feet than there should be. He sits up. Too late. He's shoved down, and the sound of a saw rips through the silence. Screams echo, then nothing. The next morning, Ariel laces up for her jog, eager for a moment alone. But when she opens the door, her concierge is already there, standing still, staring. "I'd like to jog alone," Ariel says cautiously. The woman nods and follows anyway. The compound's vast. Grassy fields, sculpted paths, open skies, and scattered throughout are people, creating, painting, dancing, playing instruments. Ariel jogs past them, each immersed in a trance-like state of artistry. Then she sees him, Moretti, alone by a sculpture. She approaches, direct this time. "You're not just running a retreat," she says. "This feels more like a religion." Moretti doesn't flinch, doesn't answer. Instead, he gestures for her to follow. They arrive at a small shelter. Inside, a man obsessively opens seashell after seashell. Silent, focused, hundreds already discarded. Moretti watches him like a proud father. "He's diving," he says, "searching for a natural pearl. It can take hundreds of shell, but the pearl is always worth it." Ariel raises an eyebrow. "But what's the point?" Moretti smiles faintly. "Because not everything is equal, Ariel. Balance isn't sameness. It's knowing what truly matters and letting go of what doesn't." Later that day, levelists enter her room with a folded set of clothes. Tailored, elegant, minimalist. "Made just for you," one says. "But there's a condition. You must shave. Every guest does. It's required." Ariel refuses. "That's private. That's my choice." The levelist smiles, like someone used to pushing past resistance. There's tension, words, a silent standoff. Eventually, Ariel gives in. That night in the ballroom, the guests are seated beneath an array of surreal chandeliers. The air feels thick with ceremony. Moretti takes the stage. He begins to perform, a song from his new album. It's haunting, beautiful, unsettling. He dances among the guests, touches hands, makes eye contact, like a prophet giving blessings. Then, coughing, violent. A woman gasps and collapses. Moretti halts mid-performance, expression frozen. She's carried out by levelists, swift and silent. Later in a gallery hallway, Moretti and Stan observe a painting, a chaotic swirl of color and form. "Every levelist is a god," Moretti tells him. "We manifest creation. That's all a god really is." Stan looks intrigued. Ariel disturbed. Later in private, Ariel whispers to Stan, "I want to write about them, the levelists. This isn't a retreat. This is a cult." But Stan brushes it off. "Forget that. The story is Moretti, the comeback, the music. That's what we're here for." Before she can argue, chaos strikes. Out of nowhere, an arrow slams into Stan's side. He hits the ground, clutching his ribs in agony. Ariel screams. Within minutes, a group of young children appear, laughing nervously. "We're sorry, we were just playing. It slipped." Their apology doesn't land. Something about it is too rehearsed. Later, the group tries to shake it off. Drinks, music, fake laughter. But Ariel is distant, her eyes on Stan, who now has a bandage across his ribs. She leans in and says it, finally. "That wasn't an accident. It's been days, and now 2 of their original group are missing. Phones? Still confiscated. No contact, no help." Ariel voices her concern, but the others brush her off. "You're being paranoid," one woman snaps. "You know Stan and Moretti used to hate each other, right? Stan destroyed his last album with that review." Ariel stares at her in disbelief. It's clear, no one wants to listen, so she walks, alone. That night, the dining hall fills with guests, eager for something to distract them. The curtains open. Moretti walks in, radiant, theatrical. "I know you've been miserable without me," he says with a grin. "Let me fix that." He launches into another over-the-top performance. It's hypnotic, manipulative. He feeds off the applause like oxygen. At dawn, Ariel makes her move. She climbs out the window, stealthy and fast, evading the ever-present concierge. When they finally bust the door open, she's gone. She runs, through the trees, to an old forgotten building near the compound. Inside, shelves of preserved stuffed animals. Eerie, dusty, lifeless. She opens a drawer, phones, number just wooden replicas. Then she sees it. A body, limbless, headless. She gasps. Footsteps. They found her. Ariel bolts, sprints straight back to her room and starts packing like her life depends on it. Because it does. She's almost out the door when Moretti blocks her path. "Where are you going?" "I want to know where the others are," she demands. But his reply is vague. Too vague. "The bus will be here soon," he says softly. "Why don't you stay just long enough to watch the final performance? Sit near the window. When the bus arrives, you can leave." Promise. Ariel hesitates, but she sits. The lights dim. On stage, puppeteered mice with fake microphones, mimicking influencers and journalists, clawing at a pop star in the middle. Moretti, obviously. The mice bombard her with cruel questions, twist her past, shame her with glee. It's grotesque satire. But then, Ariel's chair begins to move. Confused, she looks down. The cushion tears. A figure emerges from inside the stage material. A guest, one of the missing. Her mouth is stuffed, her eyes oozing. She's blind, broken. She stumbles forward, crying for help. Everyone panics. Moretti steps forward and gently touches her face until some of the goo splashes into his eyes. He screams in agony. The room descends into chaos. Someone makes a run for it. They're dragged back, screaming. Stan lunges toward the door. He's shoved headfirst into glass. Blood everywhere. Another woman tries to flee. They grab her by the hair, rip her scalp halfway off. Her cries echo in the hall like a siren. And then silence. Moretti, eyes red and wild. "You peasants mocked me. 30 years ago, you shattered my soul with your criticism. You fed off me. You used me. Now it's time to give something back." Without warning, Stan is stabbed. Another guest runs, stabbed to death mid-scream. Ariel doesn't think. She finds a gap, slips through the window and runs. She hides in an old bathtub, breath ragged, heart racing. She thinks she's safe, but then a shadow, the concierge, silent as a blade. She's behind her, and she attacks. Ariel fights back, but it's too late. The concierge knocks her out cold. She wakes up tied to a chair, groggy, head pounding, surrounded by masked levelists in what looks like a ritualistic ceremony. At the center, Moretti, cloaked, smiling, glass raised. "A toast," he says, "to our beautiful, chaotic journey." Everything feels surreal. But then, hope. One of the levelists, a woman with nervous eyes, steps forward to hand Ariel a wine glass. Instead, she whispers, "Push me." Ariel doesn't hesitate. The levelist crashes into the altar, toppling coals. Flames erupt, and Moretti's robe catches fire. In the chaos, the levelist slices Ariel free. Ariel bolts, racing through the compound as the others scramble to control the blaze. She finds an ATV and hits the gas. But she's not alone. A concierge is right behind her. They race through the night, through trees, over hills, smashing through brush. She reaches the front gate and spots a lone figure. One of Moretti's obsessive fans holding a poster. Dazed, delusional. "I need your car," she pleads. "Now!" But he just stares, entranced, mutters something about Moretti being a god. No time. She knocks him out cold, jumps into his car, and drives. She doesn't look back. 2 years later, Ariel is a best-selling author. Her book, The Eulogy of Ego, details the cult, the murders, and the night she barely escaped with her life. It's gone viral. She's on talk shows, podcasts, book tours. Everyone wants a piece of her story. She returned to the compound with police. What they found was worse than fiction. Moretti sitting at his grand piano, surrounded by the preserved bodies of the 5 guests, playing a haunting melody. He smiled as they cuffed him. Now Ariel walks into a prison visiting room. He's older, but not broken. Still smug, still dangerous. "Congratulations," he says. "You sold, what, 10 million copies?" She doesn't respond. "You saw it, didn't you?" he says. "Only 5 died, that's all. The others, they're free, out there, creating, spreading the purity." "Purity?" she asks. He nods. "I invited you because I read your article. I knew you hadn't been corrupted yet. You still wrote with purpose. You still cared." He leans forward. "And now, my work is complete. You finished the story. You gave it to the world." She stares at him, disgusted, confused. He smiles. "Thank you, Ariel. Truly." Then he gets up, nods to the guard, and leaves the room. Thanks for watching.